Just say the actual yes, yes, yes. What up,
What is
Joel?
this? What is this about?
How's it going?
Good. Oh,
Yes.
good. What was this Rocky Day or something? What do you
Super America Freedom, #1 America forever, Joel. That's what's up.
Okay.
Right.
Uh-huh.
All right, I just got done shooting a bunch of stuff. I'm making commercials.
Oh, all right.
Commercials for what you ask? That's right. I'm making commercials for my big super fun 4th of July celebration, fun time jamboree happening. It's happening on the 4th of July.
Okay.
What do you do on the 4th of July? Are you free? You're an American, of course you're free.
Yeah.
You're
What
free,
am I
it's
doing?
great.
I'm doing July 4th stuff. I don't know if I'll be in town.
You be in town, you're gonna hang around for this, it ain't worth missing, let me tell
I
you.
go to New England where it all started.
Oh, New England, what did they start there? We're not talking about tea.
Yeah, the British are coming.
What did-
Or,
what?
Sorry, the British are coming.
That's how he does it, he whispered,
Yeah.
he whispered, okay?
Yeah, as we recounted in our last show. If you
Here-
missed out on it, probably should.
Here in town,
Right. So
I'm
it's in
gonna-
Tucson.
yes,
All right.
Oro Valley celebration 4th of July at the Naranja Park.
Oh, all right. Naranja Park. I know
Yes,
well.
I am hosting the 4th of July
Cool.
celebration.
All right. So what does that entail?
Oh, it's fun and games, and I'm probably going to wind up doing the chicken dance because
Okay.
America.
Sure.
Also,
That's where
tug
the
of
chicken
war.
dance was invented.
Famous American dancing style, the chicken dance. We all know how it goes, and then you wiggle. It's great.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to be doing some of that for the kids. It's a fun time game thing, fun time thing for kids and fun and adults and but kids. It's great.
Okay.
So I just got done shooting a bunch of promotional materials for that.
Nice.
And
It's
I'm all
free. Is it
jacked
free?
up.
Most importantly, is it
Of
free?
course, it's free. It's
All
the
right.
4th of July.
All right.
Freedom,
Well, I mean,
independence,
you know,
freedom, American Day, freedom, apple pie,
America's-
baseball.
America loves their business and their free market, so maybe I thought they made
Do
some
a
charging
business.
for it.
Well, there's things that there will be. Local
right.
businesses, local tents and organizations,
Okay.
food trucks aplenty. That's right.
Okay.
It's going to be a blast.
That sounds fun. Well,
I
if
know.
I'm in town. I think I'm in town.
I hope you're in town. I'll give you a special secret invite. You got to be there, get there a little early, get some of the swag, spin my wheel for the comic book mobile, because I'll have a booth set up and I'm going to do all this
All right.
crazy fun Freedom America stuff, Freedom USA, #1 forever.
Oh, nice. Okay. That sounds fun.
Right?
All right. Yeah, I got no plans for July 4th, so it looks like I'm going there.
Damn right. Don't be too excited.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I haven't even thought about it. And you're in July 4th mode. Like, we haven't gotten to Memorial Day yet.
Let me tell you.
Take one step at a time here.
I'm always in America mode. Every day is a great day when you're an American. America, freedom, patriotism.
Well, depending on who you are. I mean, you know, I was on my damn phone because I'm
On your
millennial.
damn phone, millennials.
Yeah.
My God.
I was watching that This Is America video. Did you see that one?
I did.
Yeah.
Childish Gambino.
Right.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, right.
Spectacular Spider-Man, I believe.
Is he?
He's going to be Ultimate Spider-Man. He's awesome. So,
Isn't he also in like Star Wars thing?
yeah, he's Han Solo's buddy, Lando Calrissian, I believe, as a
okay.
young, sexy man.
Okay.
It's a prequel, Star Wars story. There you go.
Cool.
So, that video,
Yeah, what'd you think?
excellent.
Very good. Yeah.
I will
right,
shout
right,
from the
right.
rooftops because that is some of the ordeal, let me tell you. This isn't my first old shindig. It's not my first fireworks
Is this
celebration.
well, so you can do this,
Yes.
but still appreciate a video like that.
It's very difficult. A lot of people, I know.
I gotta massage my temples a little bit.
Massage your
Should I?
temples.
Yeah. All right.
But remember, I appreciate the world of fine art. And that video was very artistic and had a lot of message. There's a lot to behold in that video and a lot of sad truths, because that is one of the states truths of being an American these days, is it's not all fun apple pie, Hulk Hogan baseball,
Right.
America #1 forever. It's very difficult sometimes because, boy, America not #1 a lot of the time.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So-
So what I got out of it was like, you know, you kind of like almost the screen of things being, you know, the veneer of it being.
Right.
You know, fun times
Yeah.
dancing while in the
Old
background.
1950s style sitcoms
Sure.
that this is how America is, Billy.
Yeah.
Drink your milk. It's great.
Right. And then there's just, you know,
Thumbs up.
apocalypse going on in the background.
Right. None of that. A big
Yeah.
whitewashing of everything. Right. And that is one of the weird truths of what happens and what it is to be an American and how tough it is in a way now to be proud. Like, is it tough to be proud sometimes the way that I am proud
Well,
of America?
I think-
Because
It is kind of, well, I think because of just the way our culture is kind of set up now where you're thrown into one box or the other. So if you do kind of come with the pride, like if you were to walk around, well, you did walk around like that. If you were to walk around certain areas, people are going to make assumptions about you and say, oh, okay.
And isn't that sad that since when did this become the bad guy? But
Yeah,
some people would say it's been the bad guy all along.
Right, right.
You know, because
Yeah.
it is like a 1950s style of putting, oh no, it's clean. It's the cartoon version of George Washington, the cartoon version of
Yeah,
certain
sure.
historians, even the villains. There's a cartoon version of them, and we laugh at them, and it becomes that thing. There's a big movement to make sure that doesn't happen to Martin Luther King, where it's not this
Right.
kind of cartooned, watered down,
Yeah,
you know,
it's kinda already happened,
the cherry,
but-
right?
Yeah.
It's that nonsense, and it's weird. So let me tell you, this isn't my first rodeo when it comes to the old America Freedom Celebration, Frank Powers 4th of July Fun Time
Oh,
Jamboree.
all right.
I've done this, is gonna be my 3rd year doing it, right?
Okay.
And last year, when the world shifted a bit and we got a new presidente, and I'm sure he doesn't like being called El Presidente. It's probably extra
Yeah,
insulting.
that's not what I am, the president.
Yeah. So,
But it's the same. No.
yeah, people were, of course, a little worried because, man, country's pretty divided, right? It feels like a divisive place. That video, it's very divided. It shows you how divisive it is between races and between things like that. I've had certain things happen to me even recently. It's like, oh man, this place where you worry about people and you find out things that, you know, about friends you're friends with for 5 years, and then it's like, oh, you're a fraud because
Right.
of what they
Yeah,
do.
that's happened. That's been like the past year for me. Is like,
Yeah.
you know, all our heroes are kind of being
Yep.
torn down, you know,
Yep.
for good reason. But
not only that, it happens with heroes, it happens with friends, and it
Yeah.
happens with people in the local community too.
yeah, there's
Where-
been a bunch of those this year too.
Yeah.
The Me Too moments in
all
Tucson.
of that.
Tucson.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
and everywhere. So it's interesting because it's important to acknowledge the truth of it all and acknowledge that there is horrible stuff like that. But man, there's this one thing that a buddy of mine said, and as dark and as grim and as weird and terrible as it is, and looking at the truth and realizing things, pulling back some of the facade. So I have this friend of mine, because I used to not be super pro America, happy guy. I used to be very angry about this.
Right. I think
Hated a lot
of
of
people go through that period
When you're young,
late teens, 20s.
Yes.
That yeah.
If you're in college, there's another quote that I'll butcher. It's like, if you don't hate America in your 20s but love it by your 30s, like, blah.
Yeah,
It's a very
you haven't
common
grown
thing.
yet.
You
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
for
find
sure,
out, like,
for sure.
yeah, it's not all just, why can't it just be this way? And it's
Right.
like, that's a lot of people's attitude in college.
Sure.
It is just a lot of the saying it, you know, but then you grow up and you realize, like, oh, the world isn't as much as, why can't it just be this way? It's like, it's a lot of chess pieces on the board. you
Right,
know?
right.
A
Well,
lot
it's
of
hard enough
cogs
to-
in the works.
Sure. Well, it's hard enough to agree with a small group of people. You know, a 10-person team is very hard to get everyone
Yeah.
on the same page.
You
So
can't order a pizza
multiply
with
that
10 people,
by yeah,
right?
exactly.
You're
that's
only
hard
getting
enough.
plain.
Yeah, you're deciding what music to play, what movie to watch, stuff like that. It's
All
it's,
this
it's
stuff.
really difficult. So
Yeah.
you know, multiply that by how many millions of people are here,
Exactly.
or billions of people in the world, and that's why you have, you know, the world we have.
Yeah. Well, you have the world.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I think in the end, everyone thinks they have the same aim. You know, you want the best for your family and your friends, and
Yeah.
but it's, I guess, those aims, they clash with what is good for your family might not be the best for my family, and that's what.
Of course,
you know,
well, there's always that. There's yin and yang to all things.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think we're seeing a lot of the yang lately of this America. You know, you see a lot of the darker side of things. I'm not sure if I referenced that correctly, but who cares?
Yeah, I don't know which
you
one's
get
the
what I
bad
mean.
yang.
Which,
Sure.
but you get it. So there is a lot of that to be said. So I was worried when I was going to host one of these things, and we were going through the change and
Okay.
how drastic it was when, you know, he first took office and all this stuff. And you're almost a little nervous. What is it like out there? What is it like out there? Well, let me tell you something about what it is still like out there. For still a large majority of the situation, as much as videos that come out like that do show the dark side is not every single day, of every single minute, of every single moment, of every situation. There are lots of situations that are still good, where neighbors can be neighbors, and friends are friends, and strangers can be neighbors in the community, and come together and go to a park and jump on the inflatable things and all have food and be polite to one another. Oh, excuse me, I cut you in line. Oh, I didn't mean to. And it's
Okay.
not a big, horrible race riot. It's not a big, horrible thing that everyone assumes that we're right on the verge of. Everyone assumes that everyone is so hateful. There's a lot of that sometimes I think keeps some people indoors, and people are afraid of large gatherings because of incidents that happen. But
Yeah, I
those
mean, how many
incidents,
times I've heard that? What if there's a terrorist attack?
right,
You know,
and
that
it's
kept
like
people from.
every single day there's gatherings every single day in America in the thousands and thousands. There's always a concert, there's always a show, there's always a wrestling match somewhere. So there's always that. And
Right.
the worst thing doesn't happen every single minute. So we can't be defined by the worst of ourselves.
Yeah, sure. And I
Like-
think a lot of it's because of its abstraction too. You read about, oh, the damn liberals are doing this, or the crazy conservatives are doing this. But you know, if you're talking to these people face to face, it's a lot different than
Yeah.
keyboard warrior kind of stuff.
Of
you know,
course.
I mean that kind of creates a lot of the.
And that's why people need to
division.
leave the house.
Yeah, true, definitely. I mean, I wish there were more. I mean, this is kind of an example, I guess, of like kind of both sides joining together. Both sides celebrate July 4th. There isn't a big, F July 4th movement or anything.
Well, you
which is
hope
nice.
not. But at the same time, if there was a reasonable reason for it, just like Columbus Day, yep.
Right, sure.
You know, there is that. Again, we are moving forward. All of this is, in a way, progress.
Yeah.
There is
yeah.
forward momentum, and it's slow and it's stagnant. But the thing I was going to say about my buddy, so I used to be negative growing up, hate America. We grew up, W was president. What an embarrassment. We never will see a worse president than this guy. He one time didn't open a door correctly. He another time threw up on at a dinner. Nothing will be worse than this. Oh my. Like, I hate that we're in a world where we pine away for that.
I know. And he was terrible. Like, that was like I mean, was that around the age when you kind of started like paying attention to what was going on?
Grow up.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
part of growing up is paying attention, and part of growing up is also, I think, getting involved more locally, which you see I push a lot.
Yes, that came later for me. I didn't really have much of a community kind of like that growing up. But I was always like surrounded by, I mean, we talked about politics in the house like my parents did. My dad was a Republican. He's not anymore. This actually, our El Presidente changed his mind.
He changed
in the Congress.
He changed a lot of my family's mind. You know, they couldn't bring themselves to do it. But they're still that way.
Because I still remember it was 90 when the first Bush was president. 88, I think he was elected.
Yeah.
So I remember that, my dad voting for Bush. And like, I'm 6 years old, what do I know? But my mom had, kind of put it in my head that he wasn't good. I already kind of knew that Democrats are good, Republicans are bad, at least according to my mom. And I remember like getting mad at him. My dad said, "What? I like Bushes." And that was his response.
That's funny. The lineage of these people.
Well played.
They run the country.
Well, he meant bushes in terms of actual bushes.
That's how you run it.
He's really into gardening.
He loves the wordplay. Wordplay election.
Yeah. That's my dad for you.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. But he came around. He liked Obama. So.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
How could you not? Anyway, so
he's a likable guy for most anyway.
So it's interesting that
he's also a Muslim, secret Muslim from Canada too. Maybe if you know the truth,
of course,
you might not be into him. But.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about all of this stuff is that he's not now, or he is like you're saying like as if we're all part of this team. We get drafted.
That's I mean, that's the biggest problem is the team. Like we're playing a football game. Like you don't have to be on your team. I'm kind of not on either team right now. I mean, it's really hard to get behind Democrats. Like
I know.
Like hope they put up somebody in 2020, but
like you hope they put up like they're like it's a quarterback. Because it's all a game. It's all this weird game.
I mean, there's like that strategy to it. Like I don't want to put anyone connected with like Hillary Clinton. Like get all those people there in the past who've dealt with them. Even anyone connected with Obama. Just let's get some fresh faces.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's hard to get in either team. But I remember so I've always tried to I've always reacted to like big events, and that's caused me to kind of like research things a little more. Like I remember like 9/11 was kind of like one event where it was like, what the hell was this all about, And then remember what the reason?
What the hell was this all about?
This whole thing right here. 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 This whole thing right here.
I love these eclipses. Would you wake up?
Oh,
you missed the eclipse.
I'm sorry, the sun is ridiculous today.
It was gorgeous.
It made me so tired all
week.
I
looked directly at it.
Good Lord. Ooh, I'm sorry. What were we talking? 9/11, I think. God, I was having 9/11.
That's what it was. Were you dreaming about 9/11 again?
It was, yeah.
Oh, this freaking
They
guy.
hate our freedom.
Yeah, they hate your freedom.
Yeah, so anyway, so that's what we were told, and I remember that was kind of what jolted me, because I was like, that doesn't sound right. Why would somebody plot for like 7 years, like, hate their freedom so much. Like, that doesn't sound like a good reason for somebody to go through all that. Plus, like, other places are free. Like, why didn't they do to France or, whatever? So, so it got me, looking at it. Of course, it was like our support for Israel and Israel-Palestine, things that I never even knew about. Like, I knew Israel's a thing. I knew Palestine vaguely.
It's a thing, country, something.
It's a thing, yeah, but I had no idea what the history behind it or any of that.
Well,
so
yeah, I mean, how could you? You're grown up.
Right, I was, I guess I was 18, 19 at the time.
I remember, we grow up and they force us to do homework, and then there's supposed to be, there's supposed to be a lot of learning how to then keep going.
Sure.
You're supposed to learn about things. Remember, that generation read the news.
Yeah.
I got to stay informed of what's going on in the world.
Right.
Like, that's important.
For sure, yeah. So that was one thing. And then I remember when, like, the housing bubble burst, too. That was, like, the other things. I realized, like, I have no idea how, like, our financial system works.
Nope.
I use money, but, like, I don't know anything about it. Where does it come from? Is it grown? Do they grow this stuff? Or... So
that's why you can wash it. It's made of cotton.
It exists, yeah. You can wear it, everything. That's a suit. So so I started looking at that stuff. So it's always been like, when something terrible happens, I always, start to kind of get more involved. But I went like after 9/11, I went that way that we were talking about before, about being kind of like F America, because you start to learn about all this, like, the CIA assassinations and kind of all this, like, kind of sketchy stuff, and you automatically kind of go in that rebellious sort of teenage thing where you're like, this country's BS, everything, this is all like a lie, it's all a con, and then you kind of mellow out when you get older. I feel like that's natural, and I see a lot of that now with like Trump people. Like, I feel like they're kind of in their like the head opening phase where they're like, nothing's worth trusting. But you do kind of realize, like, oh, these are people that run these agencies. Like, they're not just comic book villains. That unfortunately, that's how they're kind of portrayed sometimes, or like seen.
Yeah.
Like, they're not. I don't know.
Well, I think that we equate a lot of them the same way that we do. We all see them on television. So everyone is a villain, and everyone is the comic foil on a talk show, and everyone is like. We are very desensitized to this stuff that you almost don't know how to react, and people don't get involved, and they don't leave their house or leave the screen. So a lot of life seems pretty fictitious.
Yeah. Well, this is a big one too. Is like my wife's cousin. He's an FBI agent. So when I hear the FBI, the deep state, they're all conspiring to get rid of the president or whatever. Like, I think of this guy. Like, he's a normal dude. Like, he's got a family. He's
Remember, a lot of people do jobs.
What's that?
A lot of people do jobs. If he worked at an ice cream factory, then he'd be still doing the thing and doing that.
Yeah,
sometimes that's how a lot of people go. It's like, someone has to do the job. I got the job. Right. And then they do the job.
And most of his job is like researching, and it's not like, how are we going to take down the president today? Like, in a boardroom, like I think a lot of our ideas about things come from movies too.
Of course they do.
Thing,
I refuse to believe that any police officer is as exciting as anything you see, especially on a weekly basis. Remember, a lot of those shows, the CSIs and Law and Orders.
Oh, you solve the case in an hour.
Well, they're based on
52
true
minutes.
Right.
Leave room for commercials.
And they're based on true stories. They're based on true events. Some of them, right?
Yeah.
Right. The most epic true event that ever happened to that one person in their entire lives.
Yeah.
But then when you string 26 of those together, it happens to these same two people 26 times week after week. You're watching like the most pinnacle moment of any crime.
Right.
But week after week after week to the same people. That's just how that's presented. But those types of events are rare, and no cop is as exciting as they are on television.
Right. Even like a CSI thing like that led a lot of people want to go into like forensics and stuff. And it's like, the job isn't like the show.
No.
Like, you're not like quipping to each other. Like, everyone's got a one-liner ready to go.
Let me tell you, for a guy that loves TV as much as this guy does, all right, often you come up in situations and you do have a clever line or a quip or something funny, and everyone just stares at you. Because they're not as prepared for your TV style of dialogue.
Sure, right. Or it's like completely inappropriate, like, this guy died, why are you making a joke about it?
So sometimes on shows, when it's like 4 in a row, it's like sometimes it will be like, it's on It's Always Sunny, it's like, burn, another clever whip. But I'm like, no one in real life is this good at this. I've been around 4 people at a time. It's a lot of blank faces.
Right. And like, this the guy like, fell to his death over a building, like, guess he won't need that new shirt then.
Oh my God.
Guts are splattered everywhere. Like, you think this is the right time to...
I think that's the most fictional thing about a lot of the fiction we watch. They never talk about the smell.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes maybe they'll go, a little bit, a little. And then they got to cut with their lines and continue on. Like, a lot of reality stinks. And it's really gross.
For sure, yeah, literally. Even those like 1800s movies, like
I couldn't fathom it.
The streets were covered in horse poop. Everything was horse poop, everywhere you look. I mean, everything must have just smelled like Horse poop.
It was like New Orleans. It was horrible.
Bathed like once a month or
Probably.
something, talk about that in the Victorian Jane Austen novels.
Yeah, let me tell you, you want an authentic smell of the old past? Bourbon Street. Go
I know.
Go to New Orleans,
Vomit.
Bourbon Street, vomit,
and
horse poop everywhere. It's horrible.
Right.
Horrible place, but
Taste
also
of the past.
great.
Right. Yeah. And that's America in a nutshell. I was thinking about this. My relationship with America is kind of like, it's like an alcoholic dad who's violent, but also deep down.
That's a heart of gold?
Yeah, it's a good person, has good intentions, but just messes up all the time. And you love him,
my
he's your dad.
God.
And that's my kind of relationship that I've developed with America.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
makes some sense.
yeah, and I don't know if that was understood a little more. I wouldn't get accused of being un-American or whatever.
Well, that's what it is. I think that, and now when I was younger and more angry about it, you used to get accused about being un-American. My defense was, I'm more American than you.
Yeah.
Because I care and want to see change and want to make a difference and do all this stuff.
That makes sense.
And that's what it's built on.
Right.
So, let me tell you a little story. Back then, so miserable, mean little kid.
Should I get marshmallows?
No.
Yeah, okay.
But that would be fun.
Okay.
Miserable, mean little kid when it comes to America, all that stuff, hate it.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy, who was actually very smart, he actually did run for office as he grew up. He knows all about this stuff, loves politics, loves economics, all this. He's a horrible American monster.
Okay.
All right, business degree. He loves business and corporations.
Yeah.
But he also loves America. So he'll tell me, you know what he likes to do when he gets home drinking one night after work? He says, I like to listen to presidential speeches. And I'm like, what?
As you do. Yeah.
As you do.
Different presidents?
Yeah.
Okay.
And listen to great presidential speeches. And I'm like, tell me some of the presidential speeches you've listened to.
Best ones.
Yeah. And it'll just be like, oh, I listened to Reagan.
Eisenhower, 48.
But it's true.
Yeah.
And he's right. And listen to some of these.
I listened to one today for work.
Yeah? There you go.
Reagan.
That's what I was going to say. So which Reagan speech?
It was when he signed the anti-drug law. It was when what brought the mandatory minimums into the country.
How was it?
It was a great speech. He's a good speaker.
Important, right?
Yeah.
It's part of the job.
I mean, you consider what we have now,
right?
And even Bush.
Tweet, terrible.
Yeah, I mean, every time he opens his mouth, God damn, why can't you talk?
Right. So that's the thing. So he would tell me a list of great presidential speeches and tell me a few of them that he listened to and certain events that happen and big moments. And that was the thing. And he says, and there's one of my favorite quotes, he goes, there's nothing that's wrong with America that can't be fixed by what's right with America. And I'm like, that is magic. That is good. That was Bill Clinton said that. William Jefferson Clinton.
Billy Clinton.
Oh, Slick Willie. That's right. I played it right on the sax. And then ate a McDonald's cheeseburger, gave thumbs up.
Right. Yeah.
So that was,
okay.
And I think it's a very real and valid point, but it doesn't happen automatically. People that do see message and do see the need to get involved and do things, it is. The thing is, get involved. Don't be a keyboard cowboy warrior, all that nonsense. Don't just sit and complain.
That's what it always comes back to for me is these problems we could solve. The problem is it's us, in a sense. We're sort of this problem and the solution. You look at how many people show up to vote, and it's crazy. It's pathetic. It's a little bit over half the country. Adults show up to vote, or don't even show up. You have to throw it in the mail now. You don't even have to leave your friggin' house. And so you see something like that, and it's that could be much improved,
Well, and I'll tell you, what it's all based on? Because here's what it's all based on.
Cynicism.
Trust.
Right.
Everything in this country, a lot of it, it's built on trust.
Right. There's a lot of that. Was my vote good as my vote?
Right. And you've proven that it doesn't mean a thing. And back in the day when America was being built, and even in the early part of the century, people trusted it. They trusted the American dream.
Behind it. Yeah.
That you could come here and do something. You could make a living, raise a family, go to Disney World. And you could for a long time. Right. And people could have a chance, and immigrants could have a chance, and anyone could come here and do something. You find your niche. And you can do it. And that was a big part of growing up here. And even or establishing the country in general. And then you see what happens is that criminals and cracks and anyone that you can get away with anything does, and you do the bare minimum, and it used to be American pride has turned into a lot of lethargy and doing what you can get away with.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of the it's not illegal,
right.
like that.
There's a way around this.
Morally wrong,
right?
There's that.
Things we needed to build the Statue of Liberty. We got the Statue of Liberty as a gift, okay? But we couldn't afford to put it up. So let's have the first crowdfunder. And they did. And everyone sent in a nickel and 50 cents or $1, and they got it done, and they built it 6 months ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
The pipeline, big pipeline or some tunnel, 6 months ahead of schedule. American ingenuity, American pride, because people had that back then, because they thought they were building something great. And nowadays, all of this stuff, and it's probably been going on since, let's say, I think a big pinnacle moment's probably Vietnam. Not that we were there, not that we knew anything about the country.
Watergate, Vietnam, I think that.
And you start to lose.
And assassinations, JFK, that all happened in a very short time.
Yes,
so
and you start to
the
watch.
fall of innocence there,
And I think that's the point. Like, all of a sudden you lost the belief in the face of it, and you don't trust the president. And a lot of people now, some people that defend what's going on now, is they say that no matter who he is, whatever, you have to respect the seat of the president, like they do, and law, and they believe in laws, and they do believe in it, almost to a fault. So it's like super interesting to me, because as we've gone, grown and progressed, sometimes maybe we're not prepared for certain technologies we get, or maybe we're not as honest with the way things are, and then maybe we don't acknowledge how shattered we all really are based on that big event that happened with 9/11 and what happened since then, and all that stuff. Like, it's interesting to see how it all goes. And right now, a lot of the facade's been pulled back, and that's what's so harsh, is that when that open wound, it's a fresher wound.
Yeah, it's a tough. That's true, because that's and unfortunately, when that's opened, you think everything's bad. Like, oh, okay, this was all a lie. This was the wizard, pulling back behind the curtain or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, there were systemic problems that have been around for a long time.
Right.
We're doing much better today than we are. I mean, no one would realistically trade their places for 60 years ago.
Right.
Our country was way worse. There was, the crime was higher.
Everything, health, everything. We didn't know so much.
Right.
So just imagine what we don't know. A lot of this is based on what we don't know. And when you break trust, it's hard to rebuild trust.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's what it is. And last President Obama, a lot of people trusted that person, and he earned the trust, and he did get it. And there was a lot of respect, and it didn't matter, what your position is, because you're like, at least I can respect that.
I know
guy.
a lot of people,
this and that.
Republicans, like my father-in-law, he said before that he doesn't agree with his policies, but he appreciated him as a human being and his family, and
and I'm sure that's what some people have even come around even since then. Now that he's not around, it's just like, maybe he wasn't that bad. That are just stuck on weird beliefs that are just based on nothing. Just based on, this is, I guess, the way I was, instead of changing a mind or trying to grow. We all think, it's funny because, again, as much as we get older, we got to realize, like, wow, our parents are really just faking it, I guess, too.
Oh yeah,
there's some manual,
too. Yeah. Especially like,
and they're
my
still
older
faking
brother,
it.
like that was their first try, I was their second try.
Right.
Like that's all you get.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone's still just faking it. They don't know how to be 60 the same way 70-year-olds just learn how to do that, and everyone turning 80s learn how to do that.
Right.
And this is the thing, is that a lot of people, there's all these assumptions made about how roles are at your age, as if there's a definition anymore. And everything has changed, but there's a lot of things that can continue to get better, and that is just through, again, education, reaching out, getting out in the community, and building trust. You got to build trust in your community. Meet strangers. Get over the stranger danger. That's what I always say. That's how you meet people. You make friends with people. Remember, what I always say, it's why we're friends, is you got to make friends with the people doing the things you want to do, not make your friends do the things that you want to do. So you find friends that are doing those interests that you have, like hanging out by the pool, chilling.
On this beautifully hot day.
Talking about Tucson, freedom in America, apple pie,
right,
cactus, Tamagotchi baby. That's not really American.
Tamagotchi.
It's not really American.
Tamagotchis, the
video games, the public library,
Furbies,
voting,
Tickle Me Elmo.
That's right. Nintendo. No, that's not either. I don't think that's either. Gangnam Style. No.
What do they make here anymore? Come on. We should.
Animation. No. But I'll tell you, American towels, made in America, right there.
I had a friend from, I'm still friends with him, but he was from Germany, and he lived in France and stuff. So he grew up in Europe and moved here when he was older. He was like in his 20s or something. But he said to me once, and we were talking about, like, freedom, or what Europeans see as America. So they kind of look at us like we're crazy because
how could they not?
The guns and all that kind of stuff. Like he said, what you have in a lot of other places in the world is you have a more restrictive society, even in Europe, in terms of what you can do. You're very kind of like, it's not a big deal for the government to say you can't do this anymore. Not like in a Taliban kind of way, but in a regulation kind of way. There's a lot of things banned in Europe that aren't banned here, and so stuff like that.
Like guns.
Yeah, like guns and pesticides, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So. Whereas, you ban anything here and there's an uproar. It's just the government, we want you to stay away, and that's how we were founded and whatever. But he said, you have basically these two things. And in America, what's fun about it and what's great about it is you do have freedom. On the other side, when you have freedom, it's like when your parents leave, it's a lot of fun, but like, it can be dangerous.
Yes.
Yes.
Nobody wants to clean up the mess.
Right. And then you have the other side of the helicopter parent that, yeah, you're safe, right? Or think about if you live in Iran or something, you're safe, you don't have gun violence, but you're constantly being watched and told what to do, and then you don't get to grow as a human being, and you don't live an authentic life. So there's really,
And that's the freedom that I talk about. Like, aren't we, in a way, still like, we've got the least rules? As far as a lot of countries are concerned, right? In a way,
I think we're
freedom of America,
in
freedom,
some way,
creativity.
unlike
we can make fun of the president, say what we want, do what we want.
Yeah, for sure, in that way. Yeah, definitely.
It's a lot of that a lot of people don't get to do.
Right. Like in
we can make
Germany,
anything.
Germany, for example, like you can't talk about the Holocaust. You can't be a Holocaust denier. Like that. There's nothing here like that. where you can support slavery, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't advise it, but you can, and there are people that do that.
Right.
Whereas, there, no, even
It's illegal.
Yeah, and here it's like, we're very, free speech is like sacred.
Yes.
It's the First Amendment. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, in that way, I have to respect our country for sticking to that, as terrible as it can be to see what happens because of that.
Yep. It's true.
Yep.
Again, and that's how rights are. Everyone doesn't realize, like, this has been a nice slow crawl for everyone getting rights, and we're still working, but every day has been better than the last in a way for everybody. And sometimes, again, it feels like you're taking 2 steps back, but that's only because, again, the thing we're trying to do really hurts, it really burns, it's hard to break, it takes effort and strength and all that stuff. And it doesn't take muskets anymore. Like, as hard and slow as it might be, we're not out in the battlefields marching in a line, just one to another on American soil. And I say, yes, I'm sure there are soldiers there. Not every man, woman, and child. You know what I'm saying? It's still like, there's not a draft. There's
right, we're not getting sent to Vietnam.
Yeah, there's still all this stuff that is always better than the way that it was, and we're trying to get there. And I think that everyone is trying to get there, and the ones that aren't are going. I don't think we're going to go in reverse.
Yeah,
I think
probably
rights,
not. And I think partly too, like to go back to the video a little bit, I think from the black community's perspective, they're seeing that their situation is different. Like it's, things have gotten better,
and that
but
is
their
it, and it is
situation's
different.
kind of like, they're still in sort of the same position as, 50 years ago.
Right.
And I think that's frustrating.
It's just in a way, just in a different way, And that's the thing. The smartest thing, and again, this is from South Park. Smartest thing is to say is like, I don't understand, because I can't understand how they feel, and you can't. But man, you just got to empathize with it and help.
Right.
Just
and that's
know.
the thing is listening. I hate when you see.
I can't understand how it feels to be on fire, but if I see someone on fire, you help.
Whatever, sure.
You do whatever you can.
Right.
I think that's important.
Definitely.
That video was, I think, a big cry out for a lot of people.
Right.
It was a different way. It was a cry out. Again, to show you, is this bad? Today.
Right, but you're watching this dance, and we're dancing for it.
And the dancing is very, very good.
It's great. Yeah. The whole I was reading about today that it was like a South African dance that was weaved into there, and just that even the dances themselves had significance. Like every piece of it was well thought out.
I believe that every single movement, motion, and thing had thought behind it. So
definitely.
And this is why to me that video did stand out, and I think it's wonderful and amazing. And so when you read comics, there's basically this one comic that always comes to, it's number one of all time. It's The Watchmen. Okay.
Yeah.
So Watchmen is the number one comic. All this stuff. The way that they write comics is this: if you get any issue of a comic, page 1. Here's the script. The written script is typed out just like a play, anything, okay? And then you get your comic page. So if page 1 is panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4, this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens. You turn the page. If it's just one big panel, okay, page 2, panel 1. That's all that's on that. It could just be 2 words of type that just say kaboom, right?
Okay.
Page of script 3 is comic page 3, okay? So that's how they write a comic page. This comic, The Watchmen, 9 panels on page, 9 pages of script. Okay. He wrote a page of written script for every panel in that book.
Oh, okay.
Not just every page.
Okay.
And every page featured a minimum of 6 to 9 panels. So that's how much thought went into everything. There are clues and foreshadowing in everything, and it's brilliant. And I believe that when you watch that video that he made, every one of those things matches up with clever wordplay from the lyrics, matches up with the visual things that are happening in the front to the back. Every motion, I think, had purpose. And I think that's why that was a hell of a piece of art, as a fine piece of art. I
Yeah,
loved
for
it.
sure.
I loved it.
So did you look up? As I always like to see what the people on the other
You got to
side.
look up the Easter eggs. Oh, I didn't see a lot of the negatives.
The backlash. I looked it up because I was like,
How is
what
the
could possibly say?
backlash to it? Because usually I watch, the other entertainment shows, and then they will say, "Here's how they're reacting to it." But I haven't.
Right. And with political stuff, you see it because obviously there's going to be a backlash to everything. So I was like, I wonder if there will be a backlash to this. But because it's so popular, of course, someone has to.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the guy, and I'm going to get somebody right. Yeah.
Of course.
So I saw one. It was actually in Spin magazine, the music magazine.
Sure.
It was like, oh god, it was this longest article, but basically the guy was his point was that he was criticizing Donald Glover, basically calling him an opportunist, because. So you're not too familiar with his music and stuff.
I am on the fringe a little bit.
Okay.
Childish Gambino, but it's like I couldn't name a song. I couldn't.
Okay.
But I know that he does it. I know
Right.
that he's always wanted to get in the Marvel Universe. He's doing that. I followed a little bit of his TV career, a little bit of his movie career, all that.
So
it's like you're aware of this. You're aware of this guy. You're aware of this person.
Right.
But it's not like I've been like a super fan. And then this thing did obviously make me a bit more of a fan.
Okay. So his first two albums they're rap. It's hip hop. And kind of like jokey, almost like sort of not too much of a departure from Community. Like,
Right.
oh, he's a comedian. He's doing kind of funny rap stuff.
Yeah.
And then his third album came out, and it was more almost like P-Funk sounding. It had a very kind of like Black Lives Matter sort of energy to it, and kind of came out at the right time. And so he's saying, he was doing this thing before, now all of a sudden he's like part of the movement. But the whole time I'm thinking, well, people change, right? They
Actors star in different roles.
They grow.
Comic book writers write different stories.
Yeah. And somebody commented, this was a good comment. They said he's 34 years old. 34 is usually the age, or like in your 30s is when you really start kind of thinking about the world. And he's got kids now, so you start to think about the world a little more. So. I mean, that seems like a pretty natural progression that you would start doing that when he was a kid. He was in his early 20s. Yeah, I'm just going to.
Yeah, you can goof around.
Exactly.
Yeah, that Jon Stewart, he never grew up either.
Right.
Lots of fart jokes.
The same thing. Like,
right.
Yeah, he was, he had his talk show and stuff.
Like, that's what it is.
Right.
Colbert was that. He literally was that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a clown talking about this stuff, playing a character that parodied everything that's going on,
Right.
Oh, what an opportunity. Yeah, the 9-year opportunity for that character.
Yeah.
This is America. That's what it is. This wasn't opportunistic. This is the problem.
Right. And you don't all of a sudden jump on something and do something that's that thoughtful either. You know? Like, I feel like that's not.
Believe me, if he could manufacture that.
I know. Imagine if he really, really thought something, then like, wow. He was
I'm sure that guy, and he didn't know it would be this good. That's just the way it is. You can't watch something that, like, you hit that refresh button on YouTube and all of a sudden 1 million more views have just by.
Right.
And from the time you started to the time you stopped, 1 million more people watched it with you. That's something. He didn't know it was going to be that big a deal. There's no way you can predict something like that. He made something fantastic, and oh look, something fantastic's being treated with some respect. Like, what a thing. Something that's going to be talked about for a while because it is a song, so it'll last because music lasts. Music with a message lasts.
Right.
And that's why I had some dumb friend of mine compare it to Gangnam Style and Party Rock in the House Tonight. It's not the song of the summer.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Nope, because this thing's
I don't think it's going to change minds, is all.
I think it's going to empower young minds. I think it's going to help artists say, you know what, I should make something like this too, because damn it, I feel that.
Yeah. So.
And that is one of the things about art, is that it spurs other art.
Yeah.
This guy just stepped up in a lot of people's minds.
I mean, like T.I.'s, he's political now.
Right.
He didn't used to be.
How could you not be? Again, the Beastie Boys got political because of W. That's what happens when something happens in the world. It changes the world.
Yeah.
So, gee, a year ago, we got a new president who's whatever. I'll just say it, but beep, beep, beep.
American Jewel.
What a treasure he is, right? So that's the thing. So that happened, and then and now it's only about and in a year there's a response. What do you know? There's some artistic response. You can't make a music video like that overnight. You got to see what happens, wrestle with reality, see what's going on, and then all of a sudden you really see what's going on, because he didn't start signing papers till January of last year, where all that crazy stuff, this avalanche really began. The tweets really started rolled out every day. Is a panic attack in America.
My phone was.
Yep.
God, what did he do now? I'm trying to work.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm very different than I was a year and something ago. All right. I like to scream and talk about it to people, anyone who'll listen. I like to do that. And it's about politics. I used to just like Muppets and things. But now you got to be real and talk about freedom, America, rights all around.
Right.
Get involved. Get involved in that local community. Say 4th Avenue. Come on. Come on.
You still like the Muppets too.
You can still like the Muppets too. It's true.
Yeah,
but maybe balance out the time you spend watching what? You know?
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Actually, that's a good point, because that's something that hit me from the video too, was like that it was calling out like people's attention and like people's attention spans, and I don't know, kind of the amount of time we spend entertaining ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a book years ago I read. It was called Entertaining Ourselves to Death, and it was written in like the 80s. But it really, he really predicted kind of how things go. Is that we're constantly,
it's so
and that's what was interesting was that, that video actually it was something that was entertaining, and also like it had a really kind of deep message to it, at least.
And is using the message of being entertaining as part of the problem, even though it's doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Very
there is a
hard to deal with.
Way to do the two, I guess. In a way.
It's a weird paradigm.
Yeah, but that's part of it is the attention. I feel like being able to focus on something that's going to be like the most valuable commodity in a few years, or let's say as like an employee, if like you can focus on something for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Because that's really the thing we're suffering from, is kind of like just cultural ADD in a sense of just not caring about stuff. Like it's, this happens, this happened now, this happens now.
What's next?
Yeah, and that's why, my initial, when we were talking about the YouTube thing, the Gangnam Style, maybe if it's cynical, is just because how quickly we just move on. And just to see, all these shootings and stuff, and it's like, no one's talking about the Las Vegas one anymore. And, the Parkland stayed alive because of the students, but eventually, it's just...
You gotta not worry about the swell as much as where it rests, I think, because things do this. And
definitely.
And you gotta hope that every time it fades away and that it just keeps doing this. Yeah. That's how things grow. That's how everything grows.
True.
Any franchise, even entertainment, you're going bigger, and then it swells, and then you just want to keep more. And that's how it works.
Yeah, because reading a book about...
Such a good point. I'm doing it in boxing gloves.
Yeah, I know, huh? With American flags on it, too.
Freedom America.
Coming together. Yeah, I read a book about, like, the Occupy movement.
Yeah?
Like, a couple weeks ago. Because I was kind of, I wouldn't say I was involved in it, but, like, I used to hang out there. And I wrote a few articles based on it. And that was, like, a really exciting thing when it happened. And it's almost been, like, kind of erased from people's minds. Like, they don't really think about that happening too much, when it was like a pretty huge thing.
No, it was. Unfortunately, that turned into a parody too. And sometimes that's what happens. Just like anytime, you can't have a conspiracy because you're instantly a nut. Because that's what happens. Right. So that turned, Occupy this, Occupy, and it became a parody.
Right.
And that's
like,
a way,
it's a bunch of hippies and whatever.
And that is a way to make something lose its strength.
Right, but what I was thinking about is there was a lot of lasting impacts that came from that. So there was Occupy Eugene, and after that ended, the whole Occupy thing, they formed this group that were building tiny houses for homeless people, and they set up these little villages of tiny houses, and it became this way to help the homeless in Eugene. And there were all these like smaller communities that arose from that, because people meeting each other, we have the same aims, and so it became these smaller things that don't make for big news stories, but are making a difference in things.
And I think that's
in that way it worked.
I think that's the thing you got to think about, is that everybody, the panic and whatever.
Yeah.
Because when you think about local, do you think Sandy Hook ever forgot? Do you think Parkland's going to forget? How many people that did activate? How many people are going to be changed? Yeah. Sometimes that is how it works. And the more these things do happen, that's how it works. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't think it is that people forget. It's just that, yes, you can't just pay attention to and assume that everyone forgot now because they're not talking about it.
Right, yeah.
No, we are talking about the next thing, but there's plenty of people that do remember, and then because of that, they did start an organization, they did a thing, they got involved.
In those specific communities.
All of this stuff.
Yeah. Because you still hear about, you hear about Gabby Giffords all the time here.
Right.
But I'm sure back home in Boston,
no one's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not talking about the Boston bombing here.
Right.
Nobody even,
but everyone back there is.
Exactly. It's still a big moment every time Marathon Monday comes. That's everything, So it is going to depend on where you are, where it happens.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So I think that that's exactly it. I think that all of it is just about trust. It's all about these things kind of happening, but always going. You can go forward, helping people that are on fire, doing all that.
There you go. Help the people that are on fire.
That's all you got to do.
That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
Because, geez.
Yeah. Right.
America's great, but freedom's hot. It's freedom's hot.
Freedom's hot, baby.
It's hot in here.
What time we got? Oh my God.
I think
it's close to 6 o'clock.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa. My wife's got I think pork chops tonight on the table. So I don't know. I might need to kind of get moving, take a little dip, and
You get
are you
moving.
gonna jump in with all this stuff? You might.
No, I'm going
drown
to take
with
a
that.
nap. I'm going to punch out.
All right. I guess I already got my nap earlier.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah, that was a
I'm
good
going to do
sleep,
that. So you do whatever.
too. Well, did you dream about 9/11?
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Man,
All right.
Sweet dreams.
I gotta go eat.
Peace.
See ya.